Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vinvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome everyone. Can't say good morning because in some places it's not morning. International gathering here. We've had some interesting last few days at the Adinam. We had 3 festivals in a row. 3 days in a row we had a special festival puja, and that's as far as I know, that's never happened before, and has to do with the fact that one festival is calculated on the Dhamma month, one's calculated on the Titi, and one's calculated on the nakshatra, so they all combined. We had the one that started, the Homa that started the Ratau, and we had Ganesha Chaturthi, and then Gurudeva's monthly Chitra Puja. So if you look on our Taka page, you'll see all 3 of them sitting there, and we broadcast them live, so those who want to participate without traveling to Hawaii and undergoing a 14-day quarantine could do so. In anticipation of having some new participants this morning, 78 participants signed in, wanted to do some review. We've been talking about the mind in the last few satsangs. I think it's 2. Specifically, we defined the 5 states of mind. And then we were talking in more detail about the subconscious mind. So we'll do a quick review of that. This is from our online lexicon. It's a very good lexicon, by the way. It's the same one that's in the Master Course Trilogy, but it doesn't have the diacritical marks because you can't put those on the web fonts. So 5 states of mind is like a house with 5 rooms. That's a simple way of looking at it. Different types of activities take place in each room. So the room we're in most of the time is called the conscious mind. Sanskrit, Jagrat Chitta, wakeful consciousness, the ordinary waking thinking state of mind in which the majority of people function most of the day. And when we're not in a conscious mind is when we're asleep. That's the ordinary consciousness. We have subconscious mind. Sanskrit word is samskara chitta, impression mind. The part of mind beneath the conscious mind, the storehouse or recorder of all experience, whether remembered consciously or not. The holder of past impressions, reactions, and desires. Also the seat of involuntary physiological processes. There's a lot that goes on in the subconscious mind that controls the physical body. And it all happens by itself. We don't have to eat something and then think about digesting it. The digestion takes place because of the subconscious mind's ability to do that. So those are the 2 states of mind that most people utilize all the time. Conscious mind, experiencing the world, subconscious mind, remembering what we experienced, remembering our thoughts and feelings about our experiences. Subconscious mind is called Vasana Chitta, mind of subliminal traits. The area of the subconscious mind formed when 2 thoughts or experiences of the same rate of intensity are sent into the subconscious at different times and intermingling give rise to a new and totally different rate of vibration. This subconscious formation later causes the external mind to react to situations according to these accumulated vibrations, be they positive, negative, or mixed. Well, that's a topic in itself if you're not familiar with vasanas and the subconscious mind, and we're not going to touch on that today. Superconscious mind, karana chitta, the mind of light, the all-knowing intelligence of the soul. At its deepest level, the superconscious is para shakti, or Satchidananda, the divine mind of God Shiva. Sub-superconscious mind, anukarana chitta, the superconscious mind working through the conscious and subconscious states, which brings forth intuition, clarity, and insight. Then we have one analogy that we shared. It's a good one, so we'll share it again. Imagine a surveillance camera at a retail store. So the camera sees and hears everything that happens in the store. That's like the conscious mind. But of course, the camera doesn't remember it, as the conscious mind doesn't remember things. The information is recorded on tapes and placed in a storeroom. That's the subconscious mind. Most tapes are uneventful. However, some record significant events, both positive and negative. A positive event example is visits of important people to the store. A negative event example is a robbery. Such major events are stored separately on special shelves. Events of the same type are placed next to each other. Subconscious mind. Our second review point, the topic submitted was conscious mind and subconscious mind. Subconscious mind makes most important decisions. That's the topic where we commented on. The subconscious mind is like a great computer. It responds to the programming that has been set in motion through all previous lives. Our reaction and habit patterns of this life form our tendencies of the next life. And the tendencies of our last life make our reactions and habit patterns of this life. Life after life, we have been programming the subconscious mind. It has been mainly programmed by awareness caught in the instinctive emotions of the senses of the conscious mind itself. Using this terminology, we can say that we tend to make decisions based on our subconscious reactionary patterns and habit patterns. Some of these patterns are positive ones and others are negative ones. Many people think they are their habit patterns. So for example, someone will say, well, what can I do? I'm an angry person. That's just the way I am. Well, the person's not an angry person. The person has a habit pattern of becoming angry when certain events happen. But all habit patterns can be changed. We looked at one way to change habit patterns or remold the subconscious mind last time, and that's through character qualities, strengthening positive character qualities. And we talked about our character building workbook that has 64 character qualities. And for example, patience is a good one. Lots of people have trouble being patient, particularly if someone seems to explain things at length when they don't need to. That can be a challenging one, not to interrupt them or not to let the mind drift off. But an impatient person can become a patient person if they work at it. They just have to strive to increase their patience, and habit patterns change slowly. So over a period of time, that habit pattern can be changed. So that's the end of the review. That brings us up to date. And we have 5 states of mind. Subconscious mind is one of them. We tend to react, respond to situations by the habit patterns in the subconscious mind, which is the idea of subconscious mind is making the decision, is deciding how we act. In other words, our habits are controlling us if we're not careful. And we can improve the subconscious mind, improve our habits. And one of the ways we can improve the subconscious mind is character building, strengthening character qualities which we are weak in. Now we're moving on to new material. This is Nandinada Sutras, verse 308. Nandinada Sutras, for those who don't know, is 365 verses written by Gurudeva, one for each day of the year, which condense important ideas into just a few sentences. So he's trying to put all the important ideas of his teachings into 365 short statements. This one is called Remolding the Subconscious. My devotees succeed by remolding subconscious magnetic forces. They purge the dross through Vasana Daha Tantra, writing and burning past transgressions and current problems, then use positive affirmations. You'll notice it's a two-step process. First is Vasana Daha Tantra, which we'll explain more about, writing and burning past transgressions and current problems, and then using positive affirmations. Well, it doesn't mean you have to do Vasana Daha Tantra for years and years before you can use positive affirmations, but it does mean that affirmations will work a lot better after you've done significant Vasana Daha Tantra. Affirmations won't be as effective if you haven't done significant Vasana Daha Tantra, because the subconscious is kind of in a messy state. It's like a storeroom that you just keep putting things into without putting them in a systematic, orderly way. That's the subconscious mind for many individuals. So we need to straighten it out before we can expect it to function very effectively. And it's interesting, this sutra is right after Sutra 307, which is on the 5 states of mind. So it shows how they're very related topics. Sutra 307, self-mastery through introspection. My devotees study the 5 states of mind: conscious, subconscious, sub-subconscious, sub-superconscious, and superconscious. They let go of negative attachments and become master of mind, body, and emotions. A number of years ago, in response to more and more people coming on pilgrimage, I decided to get organized. Previously, every time someone wrote in about pilgrimage, they would ask a question such as, what should I do when I get there, and how should I best prepare? And so I'd think for a few minutes, and then I'd type up an email and send it out. And I did that enough times to realize there was enough interest to justify writing it down once and for all and sending out the same information to everybody. So we did that, and it's a pilgrimage sadhana booklet. It's on our website. And it has all kinds of different sadhanas you can do when you're here, and various ways of preparing for pilgrimage. Because the preparation for the pilgrimage is just as important as the pilgrimage itself. We don't want to simply jump on a plane without any preparation. The pilgrimage that has the most preparation that I know of is Sabarimala. 40 days is the length of time that devotees of Ayyappa Swami prepare for their pilgrimage. 40 days of special sadhana and restrictions. Amazing discipline. So this is the sadhana on Vasana Daha Tantra from the booklet. Daha means to burn. A tantra is a method. And vasanas are deep-seated subconscious tendencies that shape one's attitudes and motivations. Vasanas can be either positive or negative. One of the best methods for resolving difficulties in life, of dissolving troublesome vasanas, The Vasanada Tantra is the practice of burning confessions or even long letters to loved ones or acquaintances describing pains, expressing confusions, and registering complaints and long-held hurts. Writing down problems and burning them in an ordinary fire, not a fire in a temple, brings them from the subconscious into the external mind, releasing the suppressed emotion as the fire consumes the paper. This is a magical healing process. Write in detail in one or more pages your experiences and difficulties. When finished, burn it up. Watch Agni, the god of fire, destroy the dross of your deep subconscious mind. Experience freedom from emotional burdens you have been carrying. Release the past. Enter a glorious new future. Then we have a note here. At the entrance to the monastery, there is an urn in the six-sided pavilion where you can write and burn your pages. This is even a popular practice among some local people. They drive up and use the urn and do Vasanada Tantra for a few minutes and then drive away. So that's getting good use out there. And just to comment on removing the emotions. Vasanada Tantra, for a specific event in the past, we're not trying to forget that the event happened. We're not trying to erase it from our memory. We're trying to take out of the memory the negative emotional component, that which upsets us, that which we haven't accepted as something that should have happened to us. We're trying to take that negative emotion out of it. So if we imagine a memory as a black and white line drawing, but with lots of colors. So if we were getting angry, we'd have a dark red, and certain other kinds of anger, some red with gray and black in it. If we're getting jealous, we'd have a dark green, etc. We have this drawing, which is black and white, but it has colors in it. What we're trying to do is remove the colors. We want the drawing to stay there. This happened, but it doesn't upset us. We remember it just as we would any other event without it stirring any emotion. That's the goal of Vasanada Tantra. Then Gurudev explains a little more in Living with Shiva. Before undertaking any of the physical prayashchittas, I have devotees do the Mahavasanada Tantra, great purification of the subconscious by fire, writing down and then burning 10 pages of memories called samskaras, good and bad, for each year of their life to the present day. Anything can be written down that concerns you. Friends, home, family, relatives, sports, TV shows, vacations, work, pastimes, indulgences, anything that is in your mind. This may automatically clear up events of the past. The idea is to remove the emotions from the experience and bring yourself to the eternal now. Forgetting the past, concern yourself with the now. Move with life day to day and create a glorious future for yourself and others. It is important to note that the Vasanada Tantra must be done by hand with paper and pen. Various devotees have tried it on the computer and found it not effective. Writing is uniquely effective because in the process, the prana from the memory flows from your subconscious through your hand, through the pen, and is embedded in the paper, bringing the memory out in the open to be understood, diffused, and released when the paper is burned. So you want to write it down, and then when you're finished, you burn it right away. Some devotees have also tried sitting and pondering the past, meditating on it, and even visualizing themselves, writing down their recollections and burning them. This often does more harm than good, as it only stirs up the past. Then there's a related writing. It's from one of my pub desks. It's from the publisher's desk called Letting Go of Past and Future. I'm sure many of you remember that to some degree. It's a way of controlling our thoughts by categorizing them into 5 different categories and then using a different tool to quiet the thoughts of each category. So I'll just mention the 5 categories, and then we'll look at the Vasana Dao Tantra category in more detail. First category, recent events. Second category, events that happened a long time ago. That's the one that relates to Vasana Dao Tantra. Third category, worries about the future. Fourth category, major decisions about the future. And fifth category, details about the present moment. So you can categorize the thought and figure out what it is, and then utilize the tool for that particular category. Unresolved experiences that happened some time ago will also come to mind, but less frequently than recent ones. It is usually no longer appropriate to apologize or seek apology, as the other parties would not understand why you are bringing up the matter after such a long time. A good alternative is to write down anything from your past that concerns you and burn the paper, holding the intent that the memory will be neutralized. If you are successful with your subconscious journaling, you will still remember, but without the attending emotions. Journaling is the Western term used in some schools of psychology for this process of writing things down. Resolving the past may be more of a challenge than one expects. A common problem is an inability to forgive someone, such as an abusive father, for how they treated us. A helpful philosophical approach is to focus on the law of karma by affirming that something we did in the past caused those experiences to come to us in the present. Our father was simply the means through which that karma was experienced. Rather than continue the unproductive pattern of blaming him, we can inwardly thank him for providing us the opportunity to face our difficult karmas. It is amazing how a simple change in our attitude toward such a thing can transform our reaction to it. Thank you very much. Oh.